Hello everybody and welcome to Overlord, a game where homicide, racism, and forced labor is not only accepted, it's encouraged. Before I get into the actual game, I do want to point out that I will be crunching the entire story into a small summary, so I'll be glossing over a lot of stuff. If you want to fully understand the story, I would highly recommend playing the actual game for yourself. Anyways, back to the competitive racism. Meet our protagonist. This guy. He has no name, so we will be calling him Overlord. I started the game dead. Yes, dead. Until I'm not, as these small gremlin monkey things called minions revive you and strap metal armor to your body. I don't know how to feel about being plucked from my Asian goth women riddled heaven back down to the fire pits of earth, but I'm not too pleased. The oldest of these minions, Gnarl, tries to teach me how to use these mindless goblins to assault random civilians. Having more than 500 hours in this game between my old Xbox 360 and my computer, I immediately ignore him. Oh, did I mention this game is almost as old as me? No? Well, it is. Stepping out into a tower that looks like it got hit by a third plane, Gnarl tells us why we're here. Apparently, we were actually a part of a group of heroes. Us, a fat kid, a depressed pacifist, a weird sex guy, fat kid 2 with beard, a girl for diversity, and a gym rat. We were sent by an old wizard to go fight the old Overlord. However, during the fight, we took a nosedive into the depths of the tower. Our friends, rightfully concerned, promptly stuffed their pockets and hightailed it out of there. Assholes. The minions nursed our mashed potato body back to health. How could they cure death? We'll learn later. If I can't go to my perfect heaven, I'll just have to make heaven on earth. Our first mission requires us to grab this shiny orb called the Tower Heart. Pretty simple, as there's not really anywhere you can hide a big glowing ball packed with enough magic to level Manhattan. It is now we meet our first faction of the game, the Halflings. Small, squishy, not a problem. These midgets, little people, stole the Tower Heart to grow pumpkins. Really? They stole what's practically a fat man from Fallout to use as a DIY fertilizer bath bomb? I don't feel bad for executing. Returning the Tower Heart gives us a few things. We are now allowed to use magic, which I plan to abuse severely. It also gives us 2 gifts, our first magic spell and a minion totem. These totems allow us to use more minions than previous, each one giving us 5 more minions to control. Gnarl tells us that our next mission would be to get a crane, since I don't want to be living like a homeless person any longer than I have to. I set out to acquire one. We make our way to the nearby village to see if they have one, only to be told that they're not going to let us in since we might be a halfling. Ah yes, the tall halfling. Such a rare breed. They tell us that the only way they would let us in was to free their men in the halfling prison camp. Turns out, they too practice forced labor. Maybe I was too hard on them. As for the grown adults being captured by children, how? We make our way over there and kill everything on sight, except the humans. We need those guys to get into the village. After slaying a fat troll, we free the captives and, conveniently, stole the random crane that was just kinda sitting there. When we get back to the village, we are greeted by one of the only black guys in the whole game. The game is about 18 years old at this point, they don't care. He tells us that the halflings stole the town's food supply, and that they would all starve if they didn't get it back. He asks us to go get the food. Why get your own people to do it when you can ask the stranger with scrap armor and several small bloodthirsty goblins to go do it? Smart. As we approach the halfling domain, we see, holy shit, Melvin! That beach ball guy down there is actually one of the heroes that left us for dead. He's not so small anymore, since when he came back as a hero, he spent most of his time eating everything that wasn't nailed down. As we progress through the animal burrows the halflings call home, we come across another minion totem that's being used to grow more pumpkins. What is with them stealing my shit pumpkins? After liberating the totem, we find the peasants' food. Now, here's where the game allows you to choose good or evil. You have the option to return the food to the humans, or steal it to gain more minions. Obviously, knowing what needs to be done to allow peace and prosperity to overflow the land, choose the opposite and kill the peasants. They call me Evil Overlord for a reason. When we travel back to the tower, we see that everything's looking better. My home is no longer considered a dilapidated shithole, just a shithole. Progress, people. Progress. Going back to the halfling's main compound, Melvin, seeing his long-dead companion tearing through hordes of little people, shits his pants and runs away. We go after him, obviously. We need to talk to him about leaving us to die in that damn tower. Entering the halfling's compound, we see another type of minion, the red minion. Now there are 4 types of minions, each with their own quirk. Browns go bonk, reds are arsonists, greens are Vietnamese guerrilla fighters, and blues, well...
Heroes never die.
Since, for some reason, the other 3 hives, yes, they come from hives, are missing, you only start off with the browns. Be glad, too, since they're one of the only competent minions you have for melee fights. After torching Melvin's cooks, we put our dukes up to fight the man of the hour. After about 30 seconds, Melvin lays half dead on the floor. As a kid, I always found this fight to be harder, but I guess rolling around like a bowling ball isn't exactly effective against people with brains. Gnarl tells us to finish the job, so we pop him like a balloon. Yuck. The glowing dust that surrounds Melvin's blown up corpse is called concentrated evil. Pretty much, the more bad you do, the more dust comes out of you when you die. After looting his corpse like it's Fortnite, we continue through the compound to rescue the red minions. Now, not only can the reds throw fire like they're playing catch with a lit cocktail Molotov, but they're also fire immune. Neat. After dragging the red hive through the halls of the halfling shithole, we put it on the teleporter and bing bang boom, we now have reds on demand. Yippee! Back at the village, we see that there's a smelter just up the hill. What could possibly go wrong? The halflings seem to have not liked us killing their boss, so we set them on fire and kill them all. After delivering the forge back to the tower, we set out to find a way into the elven forest. And by that I mean to use the reds to stop the fire and walk in. Upon entering the forest, Gnarl notes that everything is different, and we find out that another one of our old companions is behind it. The story goes that when he came back from killing the old Overlord, he just kind of plopped down for a nap, and immediately went comatose. That was all fine and dandy until the dwarves came and invaded looking for man's best friend, gold. Oh, and they also kidnapped most of the elves. Trying to stop this, the forest hit a fusion ha dance with the lifeless body of the elven hero and used his nightmares to scare the little children with beards away. Unfortunately for the elves and the forest, nightmares are usually not keen on being useful, so all the creatures from the bad dreams killed all the remaining elves. Yeah, I didn't care about that last part, however, I needed to find a way to kill this paralyzed vegetable and find out where the dwarves went so I can ransack them. Nobody robs people but me. But before I could do either of those things, I need to stop the tree from protecting them, so I set off to destroy these blue orb things. During which I realized I can't do this fight without the other minions, since greens can get rid of gas clouds and blues can swim. I found the greens pretty quickly and completed their weird ass challenges. This place smells like shit, but at least I have the green minion hive now. Before I could get the blues, I needed to go to Castle Spree. Turns out, I didn't have to do anything as the entire castle was already on fucking fire. Now, it looks like the fortress is ransacked, but it's only partially ransacked, since these ninjas, mercenaries, I'm just gonna call them ninjas, I don't really care. So, after assaulting the castle head-on and losing more than half of my goblin army, I recuperate my losses and head into the castle. After the 5th step, we see a man on fire. That's always a good sign. But then we see her, Rose. Not exactly an Asian goth baddie, but it'll have to do. We kill the ninjas blocking the door, and instead of thanking us, she tells us to grab her luggage. Lady, you're lucky I can't progress without doing this mission. After killing this weird eyeball thing and dragging what seems to be at least a year's worth of clothing, she finally thanks us and decided we need a woman. Look, I'm not that lonely, okay? We teleport home just in time for Gnarl to tell us that she's moving in fully as our mistress. Don't tell my wife, she'll fucking kill me. We spend so much time trying to find Heaven's Peak until I realize that I actually have to teleport there. 500 plus hours, and yet I can't tell you where the next quest is. When we get there, we find out that the area is also trashed to hell, except one thing. It wasn't those weird ninjas we saw earlier, it was another one of our weirdo friends. Why are all the people who were a part of my party such assholes? I mean, Melvin attacked a human settlement and kidnapped people, Oberon went to sleep and left the other elves to fight and die against the dwarves, and now this kinky paladin fuck let a zombie plague take over the city. I swear to God it can't get any worse. Unfortunately, it can. See, we can't just walk in since the gate is closed, and we have to find another way through the sewers. But before we can do that, we need to acquire the last minion hive, the blue minion hive. Luckily for us, they're 40 feet to our right. Here is where things get a bit difficult. You see, blue minions are healers, as well as your only way to deal with magical entities. Problem being that they're not made for combat. A small tap is like hitting them with a motor vehicle, and since you're getting their hive, you need to only use them. After a long and grueling process of sending minions out, them getting killed, then sending more out until they do the job, we finally get the last minion hive. Now, we can get into the sewers and into the city. The city, well, the part that's not on fire, are protected by these knockoff crusaders, who we cut down with little to no effort. Opening the damn gate so we can get through without having to deal with the shit-filled sewers also lets out the city dwellers to reunite with their families. At this point, I would kill them, however, I can't extort money out of the dead. So, on our way to the castle, we meet these priests with stitched mouths who we promptly beat the piss out of until they serve us. This wasn't really important, I just liked the killing. Before we execute the sex knight, yes, I called him that, we have to investigate the inn. There seems to be something wrong with it, which we later find out is a sex cult. I should have expected as much from a place called Halfway to Heaven. No more detours anymore, time to hang the perverted paladin with the same ropes he used to get off. Same with Melvin, as soon as he sees us, he tucks his tail between his legs and runs away. Mowing through hordes of weird kinky people, we finally fight him head on, and after getting his balls kicked in, runs away. Come on, man. Fight and die like a man/woman. I don't discriminate, I just kill. As we trail him through the damn castle, we meet some succubi, who we gladly set on fire. How they caught on fire, since they are inhabitants of hell, I will never know. The final showdown boils down to me melting his face off with magic, and him kneeling to the floor. I lift my axe to deliver the final blow, executioner style. We use his staff to open this damn door, and oh my god, finally, my dream come true. Although she isn't Asian, I'll take what I can get. As we're getting acquainted, Rose pops into the room to tell us that Velvet is her sister. Gnarl informs us that we can only take home one girl, as the tower can only handle one mistress. Here is your second choice of the game. You can pick evil route and choose Velvet, who buffs your reds and green minions, or you can pick the good option and leave with Rose, who found a way to buff your browns and blue minions. Here is where I'm conflicted. I like Velvet, but I also want stronger minions. I barely use the reds and greens, and picking Rose would improve them more than I can with armor and weapons. After a long process, i.e. 2 seconds, I choose Rose and get the hell out of there before I change my mind. Back at the tower, I'm told to upgrade the minions. I need to go to the private quarters and upgrade them in the tower upgrade panel. So I spend all my money buying other shit so my tower goes from better to best. Take that, other heroes, I'm living like a king. Before I head to the Elven Forest and kill the sleepy tree, I go under the city and grab the best smelter in the game. I just need to destroy the last blue node, and then he's fair game. Huh. Neat. Now it's time to beat up Oberon. After destroying the last orb, he does wake up, but I doubt that'll be a problem. And it wasn't, as I kill him with little to no effort. And the tree explodes, exposing the way to the Dwarven city. So that's where it was. So we walk in, see that the dwarves are actually really strong, lose several minions, then regroup and strategize from me just throwing my minions at the enemy. Now, after winning with some casualties, we find some elves who were kidnapped. Like I thought, they were being forced to mine gold for the dwarves. They beg for us to let them out, and I comply, not letting them know that as soon as I do, an endless supply of bearded kid-sized drunks are gonna run down each side of the hill and beat the shit out of them. After watching the fight happen, I heroically jump in and save the rest. I was very late and they were all dead. If only I was faster. We find out that a rock giant is guarding a bunch of gold, but also the other side of the dwarven domain. I tried to get slimes to deal with them, but I got the same result as a coughing baby versus an atomic bomb. Not wanting to wait here for the rest of my life, I decided the best course would be to kill it myself. And by that, I mean put a bunch of green minions around him and beat him in a war of attrition. You might be strong, but I don't have a life. Entering the caves, we hear that there's a ton of gold deeper in the mines. So, I thank my informants with an axe through the skull, granting me the evil objective of killing 10 elves. I could have sworn that number was higher. After collecting a crap ton of gold, we get to the end with these fat slugs, one of which spots us across the area, eats more than half of my brown minions, and gets torched for his troubles. Back at home, I finally buy the rest of the stuff so my place is not as empty, and as soon as I do, Rose calls me to the bedroom.
Oh boy, smooching time!
After we're done talking, I make myself the strongest weapon I can by sacrificing 300 brown minions, then head back out to kill the rest of the dwarves and steal their stuff. After slaying hordes of gold-hungry miners, we come across the Mother Goddess statue, originally belonging to the elves. Then, when the dwarves invaded, they stole it and are now using the slaves to build them a temple. Pretty cruel to have your prisoners build a temple to house the things that you stole from them. I like it. After launching a bunch of rock lizards at another one of those damn rock giants, we find out that the Mother Goddess statue is hollow, and do what any normal person would do, hide a bunch of little people in there, and leave it so someone can steal it. And as soon as we walk away, a floating eye beams it up to God knows where. We do have to wait until our minions can find a gate so we can teleport there instead of walking. We continue to wreck the mountain people's shit, steal their booze, and smeltery, almost die to an overgrown slug, and begin to fight their boss, Goldo. Now, Goldo's fight is probably one of the hardest in the game for me, or at least the most annoying. You see, Goldo doesn't fight alone. He decides that the best way to fight his enemies is to run them over with his car. And if that wasn't bad enough, this crazy dick strapped a flamethrower to the front of it. So, leading into this fight, I was conflicted, and it turns out I was right to be worried, as Goldo proceeds to delete 99% of my army. All that was left was one brown minion that I'd like to call Survivor, on the account that he got hit with a 6-ton vehicle going 40 miles an hour head on, and on top of that, took a flamethrower attack to the face, and unlike my other minions, proceeded to get back up and continue the fight. My heart goes out to you, Survivor. You're a real one. I then use Survivor to place explosives behind Goldo to paralyze him so we can promptly beat the shit out of him. After winning the fight like a fucking underdog, I execute Goldo and give his armor and weapons to Survivor. Or at least his helmet and axe, as his chest beat sunk into the floor. A final fuck you, I guess. Getting home, we realize our minions found a gate so we can teleport to where the goddess statue was taken. When the dust settles, we find ourselves in a desert with more ninjas, exploding beetles, and worms with armor so tough I can't break through it. With normal means. You remember what I just said 5 seconds ago? You can use explosive beetles to blow up the worms, so that's what I did for about 15 minutes. I did it so long that I forgot I was supposed to find this girl, Jewel. She's been working with the masked men stealing everything, which makes sense since her name in the wiki is Jewel the Thief. We track her through the desert while killing all of her friends, and eventually trap her within the gate. Let's add the kidnapping crime to the list too, I guess. Once we return from our vacation, we see the kleptomaniac locked in a small cage. At first, she's very aggressive, however when Gnarl threatens with a few days in an Iron Maiden, she begins to talk. The wizard, yes, the same wizard who originally sent our party to kill the old Overlord, paid her a lot of money to steal the statue. And Jewel, being very impulsive when it comes to stealing, just took the money without any questions. Remember that gym rat from before? Well, he's back and killing all the people I didn't. That's stupid. How am I supposed to get my money now? Gnarl sends us to go fight him and save our territories from the coked out menace called Kahn. Before we could do that though, our armor is looking a little lackluster compared to the netherite Kahn is strapped to his body. So, we do the most obvious thing, and spend the next 45 minutes grinding out enough minions to make the best armor set in the game. I'm sure the townsfolk can handle Kahn. Sure, he's massacring them, but there's one thing he didn't account for. I don't care. After killing several thousand beetles, I sacrificed 3,500 minions, and that's not talking about the 500 that went into my mace. In total, the number was too big for me to care about. We head into Spree, the first place I went to. The town has seen better days, the citizens are being killed en masse, and above all else, there are flying monsters everywhere. Come on guys, you're bringing the property value down. After killing all of everything, the townsfolk come to beg for mercy. Since they only betrayed me, I gave them a small warning by killing them all. Now, they won't do that ever again. The second place is Heaven's Peak. The city is still on fire, and there's more shit everywhere. As Nara repeats the same line over and over again, I kill everything and head further into the town and begin fighting with Kahn. Kahn is about 10 feet tall, wears a Buick like a chestplate, and can hit you like you walked in front of an artillery barrage. I may have the best armor I can make, but that doesn't mean he wouldn't treat it like a napkin covering my body and crack my skull open like an egg, so for all intents and purposes, I will not be getting close to him. We use our greens to sneak attack him, since I will not risk my other minions on this guy who looks like he took every drug he could find. After not being able to fight us directly, he runs to another part of the town, ranting about someone hurting Jewel. He may not be smart, but at least he cares. After kiting him around, he runs off to the final showdown. I do lose some minions in this fight, but I end up taking Kahn down. After almost getting blinded by the concerning evil coming out of Kahn, we get called to the tower. This looks like the end. The Overlord killed all of his friends who betrayed him, got a wife, and is now the most powerful being alive. That's what I would be saying if it was true. The old man that Kahn was talking about turns out to be the wizard. You know, the same one that Jewel was talking about, except he's not actually the wizard. During the final battle between the hero's party and the old Overlord, Just before he died, or after, I'm not really sure, he possessed the wizard's body. He slowly corrupted your friends to weaken them so that he can become the strongest in the land again. Although, he decided, instead of letting you rest, he revived you and lent you his power so that you could kill the others so they couldn't be strong enough to challenge him again. On top of all that, the minions betray you, since they followed the most evil and you were just using the Overlord's power. You weren't really evil. Gnarl states that he could only serve the one true evil Overlord. You goddamn traitor. The wizard got the shit out of the stick, man. He got possessed, had to watch his companions fall one by one, then watch another one of his companions get resurrected and get used to kill the other companions. And then, on top of that, the same guy who was being used to kill his friends bangs his daughter. Yes, that's right, Rose and Velvets are the wizard's daughter. That man got royally screwed. The old Overlord takes the power he gave you back, intending on killing you right there. However, Rose runs downstairs to try and stop him by throwing a rock at the tower heart. That was a bad idea. Not because it didn't work, it did. That if she did more damage to it, it would have nuked the whole tower and its surroundings. However, it didn't, and it allowed us to get our power back. Along with this, you find out that several minions actually want to work for you over the old Overlord. And thus, the minion civil war began. I wish I could kill Gnarl, but the game tells you no. You are lucky I can't execute you. But anyways, we can't just walk to where he was since we need the other minion hives. All while collecting them, the old Overlord is blasting the last moments of your life over a school's PA system. I don't know why he did this just makes me want to hit him even harder. After gathering all the minion hives, we approach the final battle of the game. As we duke it out, he tells us lines of dialogue he told the other heroes. Again, I don't know why he's doing this. Is it to make us so mad we mess up? We killed them all. Does he think we care? After beating up the senior citizen, we steal the title of Overlord once again. I didn't realize until the credits rolled that each boss of the game represented a 7 deadly sin. Melvin was gluttony, Oberon was sloth, Sir William was lust, Goldo was greed, Jewel was envy, and Kahn was wrath. It also opened my eyes to the old Overlord's sin being pride. If he knew better, he wouldn't have resurrected the hero who fell in battle. But it turns out, at the end, evil found a way.